Hi friends, it is Tuesday, May 17th, and we just finished a board meeting. Started at 9 o'clock and we ended at 1:30, so it was a long meeting, but we had a lot of really important items, and so I'm just going to hit the highlights for you. As a reminder, our next meeting is going to be June 7th, so tune in or come to call to the audience. And if any organizations out there have like proclamations or different weeks that they want us to highlight during our Board of Supervisors meetings, please reach out to our office at District 5, the number 5, at pima.gov or 520-724-8126. Any of those, we can help you at any of those. So our meeting started off today with the land acknowledgement read by my friend from the Tucson Indian Center, Michael Spotted Wolf. He is the finance director there, and I called him really last minute and he was able to come, and not only did he read the land acknowledgement, but he played and sang the honor song, which was supposed to get all of us on the board sort of focused on the importance of making good decisions and working together. So I just can't thank you enough for doing that, Michael. Thank you so much. And if any of you are interested in reading the land acknowledgement or coming to a board meeting to do any of those parts, please reach out to us. We're always looking for people who want to start off our meetings on the right foot. So we approved the budget. That was the big item of the day. And we approved $1,932,712,979. No cents. The tax rate is going to be $5.0652. So a little over $5. Debt service, $99,266,568 with a tax rate of 32 cents. And so we'll make sure to do a graphic to explain how that impacts you as a homeowner, property owner here in Pima County. Because I think that's really important. We can talk about all these numbers, but in the bottom line, it's like, how does it affect you? Technically, Pima County our tax rate is going down by almost 13 cents, but with home valuations going up, you probably are not likely to see a big difference in your taxes to Pima County. So we had Troy Kimball. He is a constituent affairs representative with Senator Sinema's office, come by to say hi and introduce himself. I was able to meet him at a previous event, and I, we all thanked him for coming. I did remind him though to please extend to our senator that, she keeps talking about I-11 and the importance of this interstate, and this governing body just recently in 2020, but in 2017, 2007. So I'm just indicating the different boards that have been around that have all opposed and signed on to a resolution in opposition of I-11, and the city of Tucson has done the same. So we're going to make sure to send a proclamation with a cover letter to Senator Sinema and also Senator Kelly, reminding them that this community in general is not in favor of I-11. We had an item to request the reconsideration of the initial court appearances, and I know that that's an item that has come up several times in our board meetings, and basically what we were trying to figure out is how do we address the need to have people that are arrested have an initial appearance as quickly as possible, and that not be delayed because a judge isn't available. So for the last 10 plus years, we've been working with the city of Tucson magistrates. The problem there is that there's been an identified need of making sure that those magistrates and judges have experience in felony cases, because right now that isn't necessarily a criteria that is required. We had Judge Bergen and basically come and say he doesn't see a problem with the initial appearances system as it stands now, and at least 4 of us actually found a problem with it. It's how to address it. We currently do not have an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Tucson. That expired last July. And so Judge Bergen requested that the item be totally removed from our agenda. So at this point, we have no agreement, and we asked staff to come up with a plan on what we're doing right now for people that need to have, timely due process and address that initial court appearances issue. So that will be coming back. I want to just say how much I love the county administrator update. And so our county administrator, Jan Lesher, is giving updates. And I introduced the idea to her because in Tucson Unified and every other school board meeting that I've watched, they have the superintendent's update where you kind of give an idea of like, hey, these are the things that are happening in our county. And sometimes we have some really amazing employees and departments that receive a lot of accolades, national recognition, and there isn't really a time to talk about that. I found myself using sort of the point of personal privilege at the beginning of the meeting to acknowledge, different finance and procurement and different departments that had received awards, but there wasn't a systemic way to do that. So I'm glad that she's taken that on, and we had it today, and I think it's great, and it's a nice update and acknowledgement to those employees that are doing a really great job. I also want to say that the budget hearings that were over 2 days were scheduled from 9 to 5 p.m. We never went to 5 p.m., but I think the earliest we were out is 4 p.m. It was really good to put a face to the name for a lot of these, like in person, be able to see the expertise when these directors were talking about their departments. And they're really complex jobs, and so it was good for us to see. Additional sick leave for those negatively impacted by the April 2020 stay-at-home order. So that would be the library district and stadium district and a few other departments. Those departments and employees were allotted 80 hours for full-time and 40 hours for part-time employees of additional sick leave. Because we did something for them our last board meeting, but one of the problems is we still had some people that literally had just what we gave them. So if they were sick for a week, it would definitely impact their ability to be able to take off. And with this new wave of COVID that is hitting really close to home, I think that it's important that we provide people the opportunity to stay home when they're not feeling well and not have all this pressure to come into work ill, because then, we'll all get sick. And I'm not just talking about COVID, I'm talking about the flu. The strains that are out there are pretty strong, and they're wiping some people out, including people in my family. So House Bill 2498 was signed by the governor on April 25th. And what that means is Pima County will continue with the vaccine requirement for employees that are new hires, for employees that are maybe looking for promotion, that will be continue to take effect until 90 days after the end of the legislative session. And then Pima County will be restricted from doing that. But we will continue, what I requested is to have HR look at giving additional wellness points, which basically means you pay less for your insurance if you're fully vaccinated and fully boosted. And so I think that would be really helpful, and not a lot of there won't be a lot of cost associated with that for Pima County. It's not like going to be a line item, but it will allow employees who are doing their part. I mean, we can also include like the flu vaccine. I think that makes a lot of sense, and some flexibility for Pima County in order to implement some of that. So that item will come back at some point. Our primary and general election ballot drop-off locations and emergency sites were approved. Those locations will be posted on our social media and website, but basically all we did is approve the emergency sites and the ballot drop-off locations. That's it. All of them our ballot boxes are going to be staffed with, I believe it was 2 people, minimally a person. They're not like unattended. But what I thought was really interesting is this last weekend when I was driving around California, there are a lot of boxes that are just out on the street. They're really heavy. I don't think anyone can move them. And you can just drop your ballot in, and it's super convenient. A lot of different places in Arizona and across the nation have unattended ballot boxes. But in Pima County, we haven't gone that route and will not be doing it this election or the upcoming. So there was direction. Our office put together a request for Pima County to do an inventory on all of the county-owned parcels and buildings that could be used for affordable housing. And so I think that's going to be really helpful for us to get an idea of what we already have, because a follow-up item that we added to the agenda was allocating $5 million for affordable housing. Now, I know that's a drop in the bucket of what we need, but I do think it's a positive first step, because that $5 million, if we identify the parcels and buildings, maybe that $5 million is just going towards renovation. We won't have to necessarily buy properties. And so I do think that this is something that we will obviously work with the city of Tucson, but we have our departments here in Pima County that have a plan, and I think just really need the funds to do it. Supervisor Hines was unable to speak today because he had a procedure on his around his vocal cords, and so he can talk in like 2 days. Unfortunately, today was one of the days he couldn't talk, and he was really interested in lifting that amount to 20 million, which I think would be great, but I want to make sure that we have at least a majority of the board that are willing to invest and establish the line item. That's really what I'm trying to do this budget. And I'm pretty confident that both of those items are going to be part of our budget this upcoming fiscal year. So I'm excited about that. There was a lot of attention put on the cost of living increase that Supervisor Hines put on the agenda. And we heard from a lot of employees, and I think that might be a result of an email that was sent out from District 2 in order to encourage employees to reach out to us. And so I do think it indicates that there is a concern about, the fact that inflation is increasing at a faster rate than we're compensating or giving increases to our employees. So the proposal initially was the administrator, Supervisor Lesher, was increase 5% for all employees who earn up to $75,000 a year, 3% increase for employees who earn between $75,001 and $150,000 a year, and then 1% for the employees who earn more than $150,000. So Supervisor Hines wanted to give an 8.5% increase to those employees that earn $25 or less an hour, 25 cents to 36.05 an hour would receive a 6% increase, around 36,000 to or $46 an hour to 95,000 a year would receive a 4%, and 46,000 to 150 would receive 3%, and anyone over 150 would still receive that 1%. That item is going to come back because we really didn't have accurate numbers. Based on what we could figure out here in the office, the total salary requirement for the county administrator's proposal was going to be 7.5 million, and this would cost a total cost of 16.7. So perhaps the numbers were kind of fluctuating between an additional 9.2 or 5.2 million. So we wanted to make sure that we had those numbers accurate before we're approving anything. I am absolutely in favor of looking at something in order to compensate our employees that are on the lower end of the salary schedule for us in Pima County. But I do worry at that bubble that is created when you increase one between 8% versus the next salary areas by separated by a penny would receive 5%. So I'm a little worried about that, but I do think that we're all sort of trying to address the need to compensate our employees as much as we can, and I think that we're all in agreement. At least 4 of us are in agreement on that one. Other than that, I think those were the big highlights. We do have our Period Poverty Awareness Drive is starting. And so May 21st at 9 a.m. is the kickoff. And we have free test kits, pickup boxes, donation. Come say hi to me. We're going to be hanging out there at 9 a.m. to about 12 noon. And you can come and drop off donations or pick up a box for your office and take it with you. We'd love to see you there. On May 20th, the Pima County Health Department is going to have a lunch and learn for Pima County staff on period poverty and access. So thank you so much to the Pima County Health Department for hosting that. And then we're hoping that a lot of people will donate there. May 24th, we're going to have a plática here in the office. It'll be on Zoom, really talking about the need and why we're doing this donation drive. I think it's really critical and important, and we'll have some speakers that will join me there. And then May 27th, Fuga is going to have a bike ride, and at that location, where we start off, there'll also be a donation site. So we hope to see you at one of those events. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun and also serve a huge need in our community. I I want to say a happy graduation to all of our U of A graduates. Congratulations. And those of you that, I cannot tell you how inspired I am from some of the people who have continued on their education and are continuing to work full time. My daughter's teacher, Lucero Ramirez, she received her master's, and she's one of my daughter's favorite teachers. And she was able to get her master's over the last 2 years while working full time with a really demanding job. And so I just am so impressed by so many people. My friend and the principal of Holiday Elementary School received her doctorate, Dr. Tanya Stozer. There's so many people that I know that I'm just so impressed and inspired by, that I'm, knock on wood, going to be going to school sometime this next year, because the end of my term with Tucson Unified is coming up in December, and then I'll have about minimally 20 hours a month to dedicate to some other stuff. And so, but I want to say congratulations to all of you U of A graduates, and then also our high school graduates. Graduations are starting, I think we have one starting tomorrow, Mountain View, and then they'll just go. We have Tucson Unified and Sunnyside that are in our District 5 district. I will be handing out diplomas at Pueblo High School and Innovation Tech, which is the JTED TUSD high school. I'm excited about that. I'm going to be attending a couple of 8th grade promotions, 5th grade promotions, and to all of you kindergartners that promoting, we're just all very proud of all of you, and good job to the parents, and just stay safe, my friends, because there's going to be a lot of young people on the roads on the weekends and a lot of celebrating, and we want to make sure that everyone returns home safe after all that celebrating. So thanks so much. Stay safe. There's a little bit of a rise in COVID cases. We're seeing them in our schools. We're seeing them, around me. I know 4 people who didn't have COVID before and now have COVID. So they went 2.5 years without getting COVID, and then they caught it. So be safe, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.